guys, I'm Louise and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be cutting the hell out of my tradescantias because I desperately need a trim. But before we get into that, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video for some more planty content. So I've got about 4 tradescantias in front of me that are absolutely going wild. Like, look at this. Like, it's just crazy. Like, this one I got last year. And this one was like really small and it had like nothing in, and then I propagated it and I chopped it, put loads of like the cuttings back in, and look how much it's grown since like summer last year basically. So yeah, I'm just gonna be chopping all of my tradescantias up because like they're just absolutely crazy. Like, I'm really scared about chopping my zebrina, but like I think it needs a bit of a chop because it's kind of overhanging my my shelf, and also want to make it a little bit more bushier. And my Nanook, look how long she's grown. I kind of want to chop her up as well because she's getting a bit too long in like the unit, so I just thought I'd just give her a nice chop. So yeah, let's just get started. I'm basically just using a random pair of scissors that I literally had since I was like really young, and somehow I've kept them, so that's what I always use. I always use just like a regular pair of scissors, don't need to get any fancy scissors, just, you know, make sure they're clean enough and they'll do. So I'm just gonna like chop like here. So I'm just gonna run through like me propagating tradescantias and how I do it, because you know everybody's different and this is my way of propagating. So I've never propagated a Nanook before because when I got this cutting it was actually rooted. So I'm just gonna chop right where the node is. So the node's there, I'm gonna chop right towards the leaf here, so it doesn't look like it's like being like chopped basically. And we have got one cutting. The other one I'm gonna chop. There we go. Look how tiny she is now. This is like kind of like the size I got her. Maybe a bit bigger. There we go. I got 2 Nanook cuttings. Now we're going to go into, I think I'm going to my zebrina because these 2, I'm going to just go ham and just chop them all up. So with my zebrina, look how like crazy she's gotten. Like, this is my second one because my first one I got his cuttings and I rooted them and they're doing really well and they just died. I don't know what happened, but this one is doing it so well and it's just giving me so much new growth that I feel confident in taking cuttings from this one. So I'm basically just going to take just a few cuttings just where they've just started to overhang a bit, and some of them are getting a little bit leggy. So like this guy here, like if you can see here, there's actually no leaves here, so I'm just gonna chop that right up to where it overhangs the pot. There we go. So this is what she looks like now. She's a bit bare, but you know, I've got so many cuttings. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 zebrina cuttings, and I'm really hoping these guys take because I've literally chopped up my zebrina and I feel really bad now, but oh well. We've got so much to propagate, and I'm gonna repot. I think I'm going to repot both like the Nanook and the zebrina back into the pots, but I think with these guys I'm just going to make new plants out of them. So I'm basically just going to do what most people like wouldn't do ever, and just literally just chop it all up. So I've done this last time and it literally like, it wasn't even like bad, it just made the plant really bushy. So I'm literally just going in and just chopping up all these long parts of the tradescantia. So I think I'm just going to leave it like that. I mean, most of these little ones here are quite short, so there we go. I've got a bunch of these cuttings, about just up to 10 here, which is crazy, and drop one down here. There we go. Where do I have to put them? Right, last but not least, this big guy who literally just needs to be trimmed like so badly, and it's crazy. Like, it's overhanging the pot to the point where like it's gonna start breaking off. So tradescantias like don't take actually very long to root. I've got a little cutting which like snapped off this plant when I was watering it, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna stick it in water because I'm not gonna waste like cuttings. If they're like large enough, then I will just propagate them. And I basically just popped it in water and it's now starting to root, so I'm really happy about that. And there we go. Look at this tradescantia. Oh my god. Like, I don't even feel bad doing this because this is actually quite good for like some plants, because some of them, like when you just cut them back loads, they just grow back even bushier because there's like, they're like, oh, I've just been like cut, now I need to like grow more and like look better than I am looking now, basically. So yeah, that's that process. I am going to show you now what I do next, basically. So the next process I'm going to talk about is just getting the cuttings ready to put in water to root. I'm going to be rooting all my tradescantia cuttings in water. I do have a lot in moss, but I don't think tradescantia will do well if I propagate in moss, in my experience. Anyway, so these are much easier to propagate in water. So basically, as you can see, these leaves are quite close to the nodes. So what I tend to do is I just basically take the leaf off. I would usually snap them off, but I'm just going to cut them off because it's so much easier, and also you have like less of a chance of like breaking the cutting. So there we go, as most of the leaves are either attached to the node because that's where they grow from, like here, or like the leaves are so close together, like these small tradescantia cuttings, that, you know, it's going to be quite difficult to propagate, so you have to take off a certain amount of leaves. I would say a node or two. I would say 2 nodes. For this one, 1, because I think these nodes up here will actually be submerged in water just a tiny bit, but mainly like the bottom ones. Especially for the smaller cuttings, I would recommend having 2 or 3 nodes. I would say 2 nodes in the water. Make sure you take the leaves off so you prevent rotting, because the leaves will rot and then it could potentially make the whole plant rot. So it's just to prevent that, really. So I'll get to that and show you what I do next. So I have just taken off the leaves, leaving at least 2 nodes each cutting. So many cuttings, it's just wow. Anyway, so basically I've just cut half a plastic bottle. I've done this for all 4, and yeah, I've basically just planted the cuttings in here, and I'm just going to do that for all of them, and I'll be back in a sec. So I've now successfully put all the tradescantia cuttings into these makeshift propagation little tubs. And look, oh, it's crazy how many cuttings I took off of all of them. So yeah, that's basically how I propagate my tradescantias. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!